1. Trump's caregiver tax credit, stalled in Congress. 2. The long-term care crisis, finding sustainable solutions for families. 3. New bipartisan bill offers $5,000 tax credit for family caregivers. 1. Trump's caregiver tax credit, stalled in Congress. Imagine a world where millions of unsung heroes, family caregivers, could receive a much-needed financial boost for their invaluable service. But here's where it gets controversial. Despite promising a tax credit for caregivers during his 2024 presidential campaign, Donald Trump's megabill did not include this crucial provision. As a presidential candidate, Trump vowed to support a tax credit for those who care for parents or loved ones, addressing the needs of an estimated 48 million caregivers in the United States. According to AARP, these caregivers contribute approximately $600 billion in unpaid labor annually, with 61% also maintaining part-time or full-time jobs. Trump's proposal aimed to offer a counterpoint to Kamala Harris's plan, which would have covered in-home health care costs under Medicare. While Trump's plan might have provided smaller benefits at a lower cost to the federal government, it ultimately failed to materialize in the signed legislation. Even without a specific caregiver tax credit, current laws offer some relief. Under the child tax credit, caregivers can receive up to $500 for looking after a child under 17 or a dependent adult. Additionally, the Child and Dependent Care Credit allows caregivers to deduct up to 20% of the first $3,000 spent on professional care for dependents. However, these provisions fall short of addressing the broader needs of family caregivers. To bridge this gap, legislation known as the Credit for Caring Act has been introduced in both the House and Senate. This bill proposes a tax credit of up to $5,000 for eligible working caregivers, covering 30% of qualified expenses exceeding $2,000. Both versions of the bill enjoy bipartisan support and the endorsement of AARP, though progress has been slow. The House bill, sponsored by Representatives Mike Carey of Ohio and Linda Sanchez of California, has 51 co-sponsors, while the Senate bill, led by Shelley Moore Capito of West Virginia and Michael Bennet of Colorado, has 7 co-sponsors. Interestingly, despite championing other campaign promises such as ending taxes on tips, overtime pay, and Social Security benefits, Trump has remained largely silent on the pending caregiver credit bills. His last mention of a caregiver credit was at a 2024 campaign rally in Gastonia, North Carolina, shortly before winning the election. Given the significant impact of caregiving on families, the absence of a caregiver tax credit in Trump's comprehensive tax and spending bill is surprising and leaves many wondering about its future prospects. The Credit for Caring Act continues to be debated in Congress, but as of now, it remains stalled. This situation raises important questions. Is the lack of progress due to political gridlock, competing priorities, or perhaps a shift in focus? What steps can be taken to ensure that family caregivers receive the recognition and support they deserve? These are issues worth exploring further and discussing openly. 2. The long-term care crisis, finding sustainable solutions for families. Michael W. Shepard is Senior Vice President, Government Relations at Genworth Financial Incorporated. The Hill. I'm ready for my breakfast, Michael. These are the words I hear each morning when my mother stays with us. I start the day by preparing her oatmeal, buttered toast, and exactly half a glass of milk, not 3/8, not 5/8, exactly half. Otherwise, I'd hear about it. After I present the tray of food and tune the TV to the Hallmark channel, I head to my desk to begin work, but I'm usually called back within minutes to help again. It's a rhythm I know well. Most of the year, my 85-year-old mother lives with my sister in Virginia. She coordinates care, manages appointments, and serves nearly every meal. While my wife, daughters, and I look forward to visits from my mother, we also know it will always be all hands on deck. The truth is, My mom needs help with carrying out ordinary activities throughout the course of each and every day. Many families take on these responsibilities themselves because the financial strain of paying a professional caregiver would be too much to bear. The national median cost, https://www.carescoot.com/cost-of-care, for a home health aide now tops $77,000 annually. For homemaker services, historically a more affordable entry point covering tasks like meal preparation and errands, it's more than $75,000. Even adult daycare centers, considered a lower cost option, carry a median annual cost of $26,000. With the average long-term care event lasting approximately 3 years, https://www.genworth.com/customer-service/ltc-premium/value-of-coverage, these aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. They affect household budgets, impact retirement savings, and make for very hard choices. Each day through 2030, 10,000 baby boomers will turn 65, and about 70% of them will need some form of long-term services and supports. https://acl.gov/ltc/basic-needs/how-much-care-will-you-need. But many won't be in a financial position to sustain the cost. In fact, costs are rising fastest for home care, the very setting in which most would prefer to age. Moreover, 2/3 of home care agencies now charge the same hourly rate for homemaker and home health aide services. We don't have time to wait for perfect answers. This is not a distant concern. It's here now, knocking on the doors of families across the country, often quietly, but usually without relent. So, what does a solution look like? We believe the scope of the long-term care challenge demands that the public and private sectors work in collaboration. An optimal framework would include dedicated government-provided funding for long-term care services, while also encouraging participation in the market for complementary private sector solutions. The increased take-up of private solutions would shift some of the burden away from Medicaid, the payer of last resort for long-term care. That's why we support bipartisan efforts like the WISH Act, https://www.ncor.org/article/wish-act, which proposes a federal backstop for catastrophic long-term care costs. At the state level, Washington has taken an alternative approach with its WA Cares program, which provides a foundational layer of support that defrays the cost when care is needed. These efforts point to a more viable path forward that also includes a role for private long-term care insurance. To be sure, solving the financing issue is fundamental to addressing the long-term care crisis in our country. However, a comprehensive solution will also include clearer paths to quality care, better tools for planning, and support for caregivers commensurate with the dignity and respect their profession deserves. We are helping millions of families navigate the aging journey and paying out over $30 billion. https://insuranceNewsNet.com/in-article/facing-the-long-term-care-explosion-with-Tom-McInerney in claims. We will continue to do our part, and we are ready and willing to work with others to create a sustainable long-term care system in America. 3. New bipartisan bill offers $5,000 tax credit for family caregivers. Imagine dedicating your time, energy, and finances to care for a loved one, only to face overwhelming financial strain in return. This is the reality for millions of family caregivers across the country. But here's where it gets controversial. What if a simple tax credit could ease this burden? Congressman Derek Schmidt has co-sponsored the Credit for Caring Act, a bipartisan bill that aims to provide working family caregivers with a non-refundable tax credit of up to $5,000 annually. The goal? To offer much-needed financial relief to those who selflessly support their loved ones at home. In Kansas alone, nearly 1 in 5 adults serves as a caregiver, with a staggering 85% of them going unpaid, according to the Kansas Department for Aging and Disability Services. Nationally, the numbers are even more eye-opening. Approximately 48 million caregivers spend an average of $7,242 per year, nearly 26% of their income, on caregiving expenses, as reported by AARP. And this is the part most people miss. These caregivers are often juggling full-time jobs while providing care, creating a financial and emotional tightrope walk. Introduced by Congressman Mike Carey as H.R. 2036, the Credit for Caring Act seeks to bridge the gap between employment and caregiving responsibilities. Congressman Schmidt emphasizes that this measure isn't just about money, it's about recognizing the sacrifices caregivers make daily. The bill has garnered support from major organizations like AARP, the Alzheimer's Association, and the Home Care Association of America, highlighting its potential impact. But here's the bold question: is a $5,000 tax credit enough to address the systemic challenges caregivers face? While it's a step in the right direction, some argue that more comprehensive solutions are needed. What do you think? Does this bill go far enough, or is it just the beginning of a larger conversation? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's spark a dialogue that could shape the future of caregiving support.